All right, so right off the start here, I want to make something very clear, and it's the fact that you can probably hear in my voice that I'm just a tad bit stressed right now. For the last 3 or 4 hours, I have been pretty much learning how to understand Morse code, learning how to understand the icon code being the 2421 code, but overall, for the most part, I was trying to understand how to listen to Morse code and then turn it into a text. Now, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, I had no plans on making this video. I was 100% going to gatekeep this information, just mainly because it kind of seems like every single time that I make a video about this, you know, someone else goes and makes the same exact video. It's just a little weird. So I was going to gatekeep this, but I just simply can't do it because you guys helped me out an absolutely insane amount. So with all of that being said, and now that I've fully vented and I kind of collected myself again, let me give you guys the quick breakdown on what exactly I am talking about, because I have searched pretty much everywhere and no one has talked about this, at least not on YouTube or in the Discord server for FISCH. If we make our way over to the official FISCH Discord server, more specifically my favorite channel being the Leaks channel, on February 22nd at 7:26 a.m., which as a matter of fact, this is the final leak that's been posted inside of the Leak channel. A quick little video was posted, which is kind of more of an MP3 than an MP4, which I will go ahead and play in the background for you guys right now. So a lot of that probably meant absolutely nothing to you, and the first time that we saw this was actually during the stream. I played it during the stream. Everybody sort of absorbed it for like a couple seconds, and then we sort of just moved on because we came to the conclusion that there's definitely Pac-Man in that, but that was pretty much it. The one thing that did stick with me is that one of you in the chat during the stream mentioned that there was Morse code inside of there. The problem is that no one was able to actually write this Morse code down, and if they did, they pretty much gatekeeped it and have not released it. I, on the other hand, spent hours figuring out how to do this, and I finally got it. Now, for starters, here we are inside of my Premiere Pro, which is pretty much where I edit all of my videos. And to make my life a little bit easier and not pretty much lose my mind, I basically went in there and I altered a little bit the audio. So this is what I ended up with. I'm sure you guys get the idea now. Every single one of those noises that you hear is a dot and a dash. What I went ahead and did was I opened up Notepad and sort of played it piece by piece, and at the very end, I ended up with this right here. At this point, it was actually extremely easy because there is an infinite amount of translators all over Google that you can pretty much just copy this text and paste it over there to get an answer. The biggest issue was sort of getting that text because you had to do it yourself, mainly because of the fact that they added all those different sounds in the background, so you can't just grab the audio file and upload it to somewhere for it to give you the answer. 99% of the time, it was giving the incorrect answer, which I do want to point out that I did see some of you in the Discord server putting that incorrect answer. That's how I know that no one actually took the effort, at least publicly, to decode this thing. Now, like I said, once I had the text, I just went ahead and pasted it into this website where I got the answer bad to the bone. This is where I have been stuck now for the last 2 hours. Yes, it took me 2 hours to give or take about an hour and a half to learn how to even write down that Morse code. And then I spent another 2 hours breaking everything down, trying to figure out where the bad to the bone was going to be used. I might sound like I'm crashing out a little bit because I kind of am. So I'll give you guys the full rundown on sort of what I did. Obviously, if we open up chat over here, you'll notice that I've typed in bad to the bone at least 100 different times, and every single one of these times has been in a completely different place. Obviously, I started off right in front of the door, tried it in capitals, non-capitals, daytime, nighttime, different season, different weather, all types of different stuff, and I got absolutely no results here. As soon as I was done here, I went ahead and looked at this board, and I sort of tried to piece everything together. Obviously, we have Dr. Glimmerfin, we've got ourselves a submarine, we've got ourselves Scylla, as well as the patch that's on her arm over here in every single one of the Glimmerfin suits. Now, I sort of took this opportunity to go ahead and pretty much kind of understand what bad to the bone could mean. And at first, I sort of took it in a very literal sense, and I was like, dude, bad to the bone, maybe this is related to Ancient Isles. Maybe I have to go over there and there's something that we need to find in Ancient Isles, which is really the only place that I can think of that is related to bones. Surprise, there's absolutely nothing going on there. So then my next step was, all right, let's go to Dr. Glimmerfin, and maybe that's where we need to go, because obviously he's related in some type of way, considering he is on that board, so maybe we just have to say it in front of him during a different time, maybe a different weather. I can't lie, I didn't try different seasons for this because, well, as we all know, seasons are kind of like 12 hours apart, so I had already wasted the time of the transition of the season on the door, so I couldn't really do it here. But either way, I stood in front of Dr. Glimmerfin, tried the bad to the bone code a bunch of different ways, absolutely nothing. The only other thing that I can think of is that bad to the bone sort of has a separate meaning, for example. To keep it in very polite words, it's basically like a really cool person. Now, my question is, I've thought at least 100 different times of who exactly is a really cool person or NPC that's inside of this world right here. And I'm gonna be honest, man, only one person came to mind. I mean, like, honestly, be so for real. This was like a no-brainer right here. Who else is cooler than me? I'm totally kidding. This is not the person that I thought about. The other person that I actually thought about was Dr. Crookspine, which sort of serves no purpose in the game right now. He's a really cool looking guy, and the dude's been envious of Dr. Glimmerfin for like the last, what, 2-3 weeks? Maybe even longer than that? But I'm sure you guys guessed it. No matter how many times I actually typed the message here, absolutely no results were coming out of this. Obviously, we know that the same exact symbol is inside of here as well as on the board over there. So that's kind of the reason why it made sense in my head for a little bit. I just genuinely don't understand what else it could be. You might also notice that I have the relic rod on because when I thought of bad to the bone, for some reason, I thought about the relic rod, but then I also thought about the fact that this is a limited time thing and very little people have it. So I can't begin to imagine that they would actually lock it behind this. Now, of course, it was back to the drawing board to try and figure out what the next step was going to be. And then I remembered there's also a picture of a Scylla. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, the Scylla room is actually pretty massive to the point where not even I've sort of searched around everywhere for it. Hey, I didn't even know you can land on these platforms. I wonder if there's somewhere around here. Maybe there's like a little text. You know, I sort of completely forgot that you can fall here. Totally off topic. There's nothing there. Like I was saying, I came inside of this room and I was like, man, this room is actually huge. I bet you thought I was going to say massive. I did some exploring around everywhere, top, bottom, inside of the water, just about every single sort of like crevice and little caves that are sort of spread around everywhere. And there is just absolutely nothing. I'm not going to lie, man. I was extremely excited when I went ahead and cracked the actual Morse code. And I thought for sure that I was onto something. I was like, dude, this is great. Maybe I just got to walk up to the door and that's it. Just type in bad to the bone and this door is going to swing open and your boy's going to be the finder. But no, that's not the case. While this is technically the most recent leak, it's really hard to sort of just forget about things like these two that were posted, right? As I mentioned before, this is kind of the website that I was using to go ahead and do the Morse code. And then on this side, I actually had the Wikipedia open, trying to completely understand what the 2421 code means. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. That is just way too advanced for me to understand. But what I do know is that this picture is still really intriguing to me. I still have no idea what this means or what exactly I'm supposed to even be looking for here. There's technically only one thing that I found really weird in this area, which let me show you guys really quickly. So if you make your way over here, that is exactly the spot where that picture was taken. And if you turn your camera this way, you'll notice that this piece of rock here, whatever this area is always moving. I have no idea what the relevance is or why exactly this is happening, but it's always like this, which I would like to point out that it is a solid thing that you can get on. It's just for some reason always shifting around side to side like that. But this is literally the only weird thing that's going on in this entire area. There is nothing out of the ordinary. There is no type of like secret passageway. There's no symbols on the wall. There is absolutely nothing. Now, of course, I want to be completely transparent that I didn't check here, like I said before, in different seasons or even in different weathers. I only checked here during the day and the nighttime just because this was closer to the end. I was already frustrated. It was literally maybe like 30 minutes ago. This has pretty much consumed my entire night. And I promise, chat, I went ahead and tried to talk to Pluto, see if he would give me like, you know, a little exclusive hint or anything like that. They are not budging at all whatsoever. This is like every man for themselves, absolute free-for-all. Which I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like it. But at the same time, I'm also kind of losing my mind. Either way, man, I figured I'd go ahead and do a video on this and pretty much sacrifice what I spent a couple of hours trying to get just because I really need your help. Every single time that I try to go to like the Discord or anything like that to try and get help from people, it's always people talking about how this doesn't exist and we're pretty much wasting our time, which is usually the same exact people that were saying that about the brick rod. And then a week later, they were, you know, begging for help on how to actually obtain the brick rod, which is kind of funny how that works out. But, you know, anyways, I've learned that asking the Discord is a terrible idea because they usually are just lazy and don't want to do anything, and they just wait until everything is discovered so they can claim the rewards. Again, this is one of those spots, man. Just look at this. There's like a random hole down here and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously that's just a little bit of an error on, you know, whoever built this maps, but why would this area be available? I don't get it. Definitely doesn't help my sanity, I'll tell you that. Either way, man, as per usual, I hope that you guys went ahead and enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I will be reading the comment section. Hopefully some of my big brain viewers out there are going to go ahead and give me a full breakdown on what's going on here. And honestly, at this point, I just have fingers crossed that anyone discovers it. I don't even want to be the first one anymore. I just want it found. Either way, man, I'm going to get back to what I was doing. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.